Hi, my name is Vicky Ryder, otherwise... What the hell?
Let's start over. My name is Vicky Ryder, otherwise known as the Queen of CBR, and today I'm going to talk to you about Adobe Spark Video. Alright, hey now. If you didn't get to this video from the Premiere Gal blog, I suggest you go check it out, because the first thing I'm about to tell you is that if you're expecting Spark Video to be a proper NLE, you're going to be very disappointed. That said, I do list out succinctly what it can and cannot do, as well as list a use case for, yes, even pros whose equipment is tied up or they're just on the road and want to put something out on the fly. So check that out at premiergal.com. I also want to note that as of the making of this tutorial, Spark Video is only available on Apple devices, but it is coming for Android. Okay, first thing we're going to do is check out this little 1-minute video that we're about to make together. Take a look. If you would like to see a full demo on how this Adobe Spark Video was made, visit the blog at premiergal.com. So that was fun. Okay, let's launch Adobe Spark Video. You can log in using Facebook or Google, but I recommend you make a Creative Cloud account and log in with that like I'm doing right here. The first thing you'll see is all the projects I've made previously, because I believe, as with all Spark apps, the minute you create a project, it gets synced to the Adobe Spark website. You'll also see that Adobe's provided a little inspiration gallery that you could end up in, depending on how you decide to share your video. So we're going to hit the plus sign to create a new project, and it's going to give us a little step-by-step and even some project title suggestions under a number of common categories. Now we'll click next, and it's going to offer us a bunch of cool story templates we can get a really big head start with, or of course we can start from scratch. We're going to go ahead and use a template for this tutorial. So we'll click the Pick This One button, and it'll open up the project for us. Along the bottom, you'll see it's laid out slides, each with a suggested title. Now, this isn't going to be the title of your clips. They're merely suggestions. Each slide also has a context menu associated with it that will let you delete the slide or duplicate it, or you can also choose to preview your video from any given slide, which is pretty cool. You don't have to open the whole video and scrub around. So let's add some text. We're going to click the plus sign and the text tool. We're going to give this slide our own title. But now we want more than one asset on there, so let's take a look at your layout options by clicking layout at the top left of the screen. You'll see that you have 4 of them there. You can have 2 assets side by side, or you can have 1 asset. You can have an asset and a title. Just depends on what you want where. I want to add a nice background to this slide, so we're going to use Spark Video's feature that allows us to search for images. Now this is very cool. You can search for anything, and Spark does its best to return to you only images that fall under Creative Commons licensing, for which it will automatically insert credits in the end slide. As you can see, I've picked a really nice sky picture. It dropped it right in there. And now we'll just preview to see what's going on so far. We're going to use the bottom left-hand play button just to start from the beginning. And it's already looking good. Spark's added a little bit of animation for us. And of course, we're not going to see anything else because we have not added any more slides. But it is going to play through to the end of its template, and you can see the credits have been added for that picture. Then it's going to ask if we're ready to share, and of course, we're going to keep editing. Now on this next slide, I want you to take notice of something. Depending on the type of asset you pick, you'll see different options for where you can grab that asset from. Since videos can only be gotten off the device so far as I can tell, I had to upload my iPhone videos to Creative Cloud and download them back to my iPad before we began the project. And as you can see, for images, you have pretty much every major cloud storage option open to you. We're going to use Creative Cloud to download an image for this slide. Creative Cloud lets us preview the image, and as always, we can see the info so that we can tell if it's the right dimensions and appropriate for our project. This one looks good, so we're going to throw it in there. Boom. Now once you get it in there, you can resize it and move it around a little bit. Now I don't think you can size it smaller than the image's actual dimensions, but you can upscale it, which is sort of nice because if you want to tweak your framing, you have that option. And I do, because I'm going to put a title on this slide and it's pretty much going to cover up our subject unless I get them out of the way. Now it's also a good idea to click the little arrow right underneath the slide to play the slide and see what it's actually going to do with the image. Because we may have moved them out of the way, but if Spark's going to go ahead and put them back in the way, that's no good. But we look pretty good here, so let's add our title. And then finally, we're going to add some video to this thing. We're going to click the plus sign again to insert an asset, and we're going to choose video. It's going to show us our local file system, and I'll go in there and pick the clip I want. So I'll click it and throw it in there, and now you can see we've got a little editor here. You can grab the selection in the middle and scrub it around to get approximately where you want to be with start and stop, and then you can top and tail it by dragging the ends. When we think we're happy, we're going to click the play button right underneath to preview it and make sure. And I'm happy with that, so we're going to go ahead and drop it in, at which point Spark Video is going to process it and place it for us. Now let's go ahead and preview what we've got so far. We're not going to do this every time. In fact, I'm going to speed right through a bunch of slides, so bear with me. And I think that looks pretty good. What do you think? Now you didn't see it, but I magically added other video clips using only my brain. Just kidding. I didn't want to bore you, so we skipped it. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our title so that we can move along to the next thing I want to show you, which is two spins I have side by side. One is a really cool high spin, and the other is a not so cool crash. But I want to show the entire crash, and it's a little bit longer than the 5-second rule I normally adhere to. So we're going to hit the edit button on the top right side of the slide, and effectively we're going to decide where we want to split this clip. And then we're going to use the center button, which will automatically create a slide that picks up right where we left off, with no transition. So now we'll go ahead and add our second title. And let's preview from here and see what we've got. And look at that. We've added a little bit of levity to our crash. Now at this point, I want to go ahead and go back to the home screen and duplicate our project so that we have a little backup, because I actually did manage to clobber this thing several times, which we'll discuss a bit later. There we go. Now if the fit hits the shan, at least we won't lose the entire thing. We've done a lot of work here. All right, now I want to go ahead and show you the side-by-side layout and some trickery I did. You know, not anything major, but you'll get the idea of what you might can do. Now I'm going to select a photo to go in both of them. So I'll pick this photo first and size it so that it looks nice. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the same photo again And this time I'm going to zoom in on it so that we can get a close-up of the racing drone. And then finally I'm going to show you that you can also add icons to your project. And we'll go ahead and pick something relevant first. We'll pick a little drone. Boom, there it is. And then another idea I had that I just thought was neat when I saw some sign language symbols was if you wanted to add some sort of sign language to your video just to make it a little more accessible or to teach sign language, I don't know. I just thought it was a cool idea. Now that we've seen the sorts of layouts we can add, we're going to take a look at themes by clicking on the top center of our screen. You can see here already that there are different styles of themes offered. You can click on them to get a little bit of a preview, and you can also use all your play options to preview them on the spot. Now when the video is full screen, you can see the transitions and whatever zoom animation it's going to do, but let's go back and see what it looks like where we can see the background of our slide. We're going to click a different theme here and you'll see how it changes. Look at that. And you might have to go back and do some tweaking after this, but the best practice is to lay out your story first and then play with your themes. But Vicky, can I customize this theme? Absolutely. Right under the themes on the right side, click Customize, and you do have a few options to choose from. You can change the background color using the neat color wheel or the pre-selected colors. You can change your fonts, and as you can see, you have all your slides laid out to give you an overview of what's going on, because you can only change these things at a project level, not slide by slide. Now what you don't know is that each theme has default music, but I've had it muted. So we'll click music on the top right and we're going to change it. You can see there's different types of music for different moods. And here's a nice one. I think we'll go with that because I happen to know we already went with that. Now for the purposes of this video, I also had the sound that came with each individual video clip muted. So we'll check out how everything sounds all together now. And I don't think I like it because that's a neat racing sound, but we have more of an inspirational thing going here. So we're going to click the speaker button on the top right of each slide and go ahead and mute the sound. You could also adjust the volume here if that's what you wanted to do. Yeah, that's a lot smoother, I think. What do you think? I think we're ready to go ahead and share this thing. But first I want to show you the Adobe Spark website, because you can create and edit up here, but there are things you can't do. Now it's important that you close your project on the device and let it sync up to the server before you open the web. The minute you open the web, that's going to be the version that wins, so make sure all your changes are uploaded to the server. One cool thing you can do up here is record your voiceovers. You can't edit them, but you can record them as many times as you need to, and this might let you use a better mic than your iPad. If you would like to see a full demo on how this Adobe Spark video was made, visit the blog at premiergal.com. So here we are. You can see that you can play with themes. You cannot customize them though, as far as I know. If you use Spark Post or Spark Pages, you can see those projects here. And there's one possibly critical thing you can do here that you can't do on the iPad, and we will get to that in just a minute. But we're going to go ahead and share this thing. So we'll click the share arrow at the top right of the screen, and we're going to choose to download it for now. Now anytime you go to share the video, Spark's going to ask you to fill in some variables, at which point you can clean up your end credits and add yourself. Spark does add in a Made with Spark credit, and this is why we're going back to the web. If you are a Creative Cloud member, you can turn that off. But as of the making of this video, I can only seem to do that on the web. Now at share time, you will also be able to decide whether you want to make a shareable link and whether you want it public or private. So let's see what that looks like to someone else when we paste it in there. And basically you have your video embedded on the Spark website. At that point you can pull up embed code or share to social media. I prefer to upload directly to social media because otherwise it seems you just get redirected. And that's all I have for you now. Please remember to go to Premier Gal's website and read my article. Follow Premier Gal. She's got awesome tutorials every week. And please subscribe to me. You can also follow me on social media at Queen of CBR just about everywhere, and on Facebook, CBR Network.